Okay, so we can see that our repository has successfully cloned to our machine. And so there are lots of objects in here. It's quite a large code base. If we were to take a look at this, it's about half a gigabyte. And so what we have here is our directory, DDF. And so this, just like our code base, is a Maven project. We can see we have a POM file here. And so we can see this is all the source code that we're going to need. And if we were to look at our log, we can see that work is being done on this project. We can see here's a task. Here's another task that someone did. So they addressed some sort of security vulnerabilities in a search feature in the UI. This person looks like they implemented some sort of logging in the security of certain commands. And the main thing to take away from this is note how the structure of each of these commits is set up. So we have our ticket number in code, which is very similar to how our recommended best practices say. So we have the identifier so that we can look up in Jira which task this relates to. And then we have this here, which is a description of what change was made at this point in our code base. And something very important to note here is that this here, the word implement, security, so the word implement is in the imperative sense here, as if we're giving a command to say to the code base, implement this, or address this, or disable this. And this is a highly recommended practice, is to use an imperative sort of command structure in commit messages. And every code base will have this where maybe some commit messages fall away from that paradigm, such as this where it says updates installer, which is in a more present tense, but usually we want to try and stick to sort of a command and treat the code base as its own entity that these changes are acting upon. So we can go back in all this history and see some very detailed information on each of these commits. But the key point to bring away from this is just that each commit is the only commit that we'll see in this master branch of a change. So right now, if we were to see what our status is, we're on the master branch. And if we were to do a list of our most recent commits, you'll notice that each task has only one commit. And we'll discuss a little bit of that later on, but that's very important to make sure that each change here represents an entire feature branch being merged into our master branch.